AITA for refusing to babysit my sister's kids for free after she abandoned me during a family emergency. This happened about 6 months ago, and it's been weighing heavily on me since. I'm still struggling to figure out if I'm the asshole here or if my sister and family are being unreasonable. So, some background. I'm 32, married with no kids, and work a demanding full-time job. My sister, 28, has 2 kids under 5 and stays at home full-time. Our parents passed away a few years ago, so the family dynamic mostly revolves around me, my sister, and our extended family. I've always been the responsible one, the one who others lean on when things go wrong. I like to help, but lately, it feels like people take that for granted. The story starts in December last year, just before the holidays. I got a call from my sister that my mom, who was very sick before she passed, had a medical emergency. Even though my mom had passed years ago, my sister was talking about my dad's health. It turns out I didn't know he was struggling so much, and my sister had been handling all of it behind the scenes without telling me. I was blindsided. Anyway, my sister was panicked and asked me to come over to help. I rearranged my schedule immediately, leaving work early and driving 2 hours to her house. While I got there, I found out that she had been dealing with a serious medical emergency involving my dad, who had been in the hospital for a few days. She hadn't told me earlier because she didn't want to worry me or my husband. The problem was she had no childcare because both kids were home sick and her husband was out of town on a business trip. So she expected me to watch the kids while she stayed at the hospital with my dad. I agreed reluctantly because it was a serious situation and family comes first. I ended up spending 2 days caring for 2 sick toddlers while barely sleeping, juggling phone calls with doctors, and trying to manage her household. When I asked if she'd had any support from other family members or friends, she said no one else could help because everyone was busy with their own lives or couldn't make it on such short notice. I felt like I was the only one stepping up. It was exhausting, but I wanted to be there for my family. After the immediate crisis passed and my dad was stable, I thought things would calm down and my sister and I would get some balance back. But then came the aftermath. My sister started to ask me more and more often to babysit her kids on short notice. Sometimes for hours, sometimes overnight. She rarely asked nicely. It was more like a demand or expectation. Her husband was traveling a lot, and she claimed she couldn't handle everything on her own. I tried to say no when I could, but she would guilt-trip me or accuse me of not caring about the family. I tried to set boundaries, telling her that I have my own life, my own job, and my own family to consider. I'm not against helping, but it felt like she was using me as a free babysitter. I also told her that I wasn't comfortable watching the kids constantly without being compensated or at least having some advance notice, so I could plan. She blew up at me, accusing me of being selfish and abandoning her during the hardest time. She said if I had cared more, I would have done whatever it took to help, including giving up my time and energy without question. My husband is supportive of my boundaries and says I shouldn't feel obligated just because we're family. But the rest of the family thinks I'm the problem. They say I should have been more grateful for the opportunity to bond with my nieces and nephews, and that I'm acting like a spoiled child for refusing to babysit without pay. To make things worse, my sister's husband came back and sided with her, saying I was selfish and should help my family when they're in need. It's caused a huge rift between us. She barely speaks to me now, and family gatherings have become awkward. I honestly feel exhausted and resentful. I want to help, but not at the cost of my own mental health and personal boundaries. Am I the asshole for refusing to babysit my sister's kids for free after what happened? Should I have just kept sacrificing my time and energy for them? I'm really torn and need an honest perspective. What do you think? If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It helps the content grow and motivates me to create even more great videos. Turn on notifications so you don't miss any new uploads. By the way, I'm curious, when do you usually watch my videos? While working, studying, or just relaxing at home? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you for your support. AITA for refusing to apologize to my sister for exposing her to our family about her mental health struggles, even though it caused a huge fallout. This is a long one, so bear with me. I, 28F, come from a pretty close-knit family, although we do have our share of drama, as most families do. My sister, Sarah, 26F, has been dealing with mental health issues for a few years now. She struggled with severe anxiety and depression, and for a long time, she kept it pretty private. Only our parents really knew the full extent of it, because Sarah was always terrified about what others would think. She's never been the type to openly discuss her problems outside of that. I've always supported her the best I could from the sidelines, trying to be there when she needed me, but honestly, it's been tough. Sometimes she'd cancel plans last minute or push people away. It hurt, but I understood it was her anxiety and depression making things hard. Recently, things started to get worse for her. She stopped answering calls and texts for days, sometimes weeks, and we all got worried. 2 months ago, my parents told me they were worried because Sarah's mental health had deteriorated further. She was refusing to see her therapist or take her medication regularly, and was isolating herself almost completely. They asked me to check on her more often, so I did, but Sarah continued to pull away. One day, I went over to her apartment after she didn't respond to texts for nearly a week. When I got there, the place was a mess, and she looked exhausted and really unwell. I tried talking to her and gently encouraged her to get help again, but she just shut down and told me to leave. A few days later, I found out from a mutual friend that Sarah had been posting some very worrying messages on social media, things that made it clear she was in a dark place and possibly considering self-harm. I was terrified and knew I had to do something. Now here's where the real issue begins. Our family has a large annual reunion every summer. It's usually a happy time, but this year it was the first reunion after a long break due to COVID. About a week before the reunion, I saw Sarah post on a private Facebook group for our family reunion about her struggles. It was the first time she'd ever been open about her mental health publicly within the family. The post was raw, honest, and heartbreaking. She explained her anxiety and depression, apologized for pulling away, and asked for support. I saw this and thought, this is a chance for the family to really come together and support her. But when the reunion started, it became clear that some family members were uncomfortable or unsure how to react. The topic of Sarah's mental health was whispered about, sometimes awkwardly addressed, and there were even some insensitive comments from distant relatives. Because the reunion was in full swing and the atmosphere was tense, I made a decision I now question. I shared Sarah's Facebook post with the entire family group chat. I thought that by putting it in a direct message to everyone, it would help normalize the conversation and get everyone on the same page about her struggles. I also hoped it would encourage people to be more compassionate and supportive. Well, I couldn't have been more wrong. Sarah was furious when she found out. She told me I betrayed her trust by sharing something she posted in a private group to the larger family chat. She said she never intended for everyone to see it and that I humiliated her. She hasn't spoken to me since the reunion ended. Many family members are divided. Some said I was right to share because mental health should be talked about openly, and it helped them understand her better. Others think I crossed a line and violated her privacy, making her feel exposed and unsafe. My parents are upset too. They told me that while they appreciate my concern, I should have respected Sarah's boundaries and kept that information private. They want me to apologize to Sarah, but I honestly don't think I did anything wrong. I feel like I was trying to help to break the stigma around mental health in our family, and to support my sister by making sure she wasn't isolated. I'm worried about her and don't want her to suffer alone, but now she's shut me out completely. I don't know how to make things right without apologizing for something I don't believe was wrong. So, Reddit, AITA for sharing my sister's mental health post with the entire family at the reunion? Or should I have kept it private even if it meant risking her isolation and our family's misunderstanding of her struggles?